Good afternoon, welcome to my channel. My name is Gavin Boyter, I'm a writer of short stories and I'm about to read you one. But first, this is an unusual one because it was inspired by 3, not 5 random words. And actually this is the story that I started writing as an experiment. I'll put a link to the original video where basically I had to come up with an idea in real time, having just spotted the words. And I showed you what that experience was like. And then in a more recent video, which I'll also include in the description, I then demonstrated rewriting it in real time. And I said I would read it for you in completeness, which I will now do. So anyway, this story is based on the following 3 random words. And it's number 123, believe it or not, and it's called The Dome. The pilgrim, whose name could not be known until he read it upon the surface of the dome, clambered across the rocky foreshore. He was just days away from his naming ceremony and adulthood at 15. The pilgrim felt a terrible yet magnificent ache in his shoulders and calves from the long swim he'd made from the island. The entrance to the dome lay amidst the dunes which sprawled year by year and required a huge effort to push back. Soon he would spend his first few months of adulthood helping the Archaeologists Guild clear the shore so that the dome would remain accessible, even throughout the storms of winter. Nobody knew who the mysterious St. Paul was, or what had caused his martyrdom. However, the dome, situated in what had been England's capital, was so massive and beautifully decorated that he must surely have been a great leader. The nameless pilgrim's faith required him to crawl, still wet from the ocean's embrace, across the beach to the steps which led to the dome's main entrance, which the Archaeologists Guild believed had once been a coloured glass window. And so he crawled, feeling the salt water stinging the cuts upon his knees and hands, as the sand clung to him. The last half-mile to the dome seemed to take forever, although the pilgrim did not notice his shadow lengthening significantly. By the time he made it to the foot of the steps, he was half delirious with fatigue, dehydration, and the blazingly hot sun burning his shoulders. Climbing the concrete steps almost felt like a relief, since it meant his journey would be over imminently. 2 tall, brusque, leather-clad guards stood at the top of the steps where the dome emerged from the dunes. They were both armed with ceremonial pikes. "State your business!" the stouter of the 2 shouted, brandishing his weapon. "I come of age," the pilgrim replied in time-honoured fashion. "See, here is my mark." The pilgrim opened one bloody palm, and there, evident to all, was the sign of the scarab. The guard stepped aside, and the dark rectangle of the dome entrance opened before him. The pilgrim, unaided by the guard, stood stiffly upright and walked forward into the dark, flooded dome interior. Once more it was time to swim, following the shaft of light that the sun made through the door's rectangle. Resolute yet fearful, given how much his upper body ached, the pilgrim leapt into a dive with as much vigour as he could muster. The water here seemed even colder than the sea, and somehow thicker. It offered more resistance to each methodical stroke, almost as if it were a living substance, trying to push him back into the daylight. In the immense cold interior, the pilgrim could hear the flutter of dark, unseen wings. Bats, no doubt, who had found some secret, minuscule entrance, since the portal through which our swimmer had entered was shuttered for 22 hours a day. Halfway through his journey, the pilgrim passed 2 other young men returning from finding their own names. "Hello, I'm Joshua," one shouted with glee in passing. His companion said nothing, ploughing through the dark water with a grim expression, as if his new name gave him no pleasure at all. "Good luck, Joshua," our pilgrim shouted back, forcing his salt-tightened face into an encouraging smile. He did not wait to watch them, since he still had several hundred yards to swim. In fact, it took our pilgrim the best part of 20 minutes to reach the far wall, where the shaft of light hit the crumbling, painted surface of the dome. There, 3 feet from the water's surface, the pilgrim at last found his name, on the graffitied wall where thousands of now long-dead Londoners had written their final messages. He scanned all the etched words, recognising some as the names of kith or kin, but few of them spoke to him, until he found one that magically did. It was written above a horn held by some winged entity, perhaps an angel. The gold paint of the wall behind the angel was spotted with mould, but a survivor had scrubbed a patch clean and written their name there somehow, Marcia. he said, rolling the 2, or should it be 3, syllables over his parched tongue. He did not know whether that was a male or female name, nor did it matter. It had once belonged to a martyr of the Great Collapse, and now it was his own. Satisfied and relieved, Marcia, the pilgrim, the adult, the newly named, pushed away from the decorated wall, backstroking slowly. Staring up into the darkness, following the dust-delineated beam, Marcia began his final swim through the dark dome towards the light. There you go. So that's the story that was generated from that random process which I showed you happening live. So you've seen the whole process from writing, rewriting. Well, I did a tiny second rewrite, which I didn't bore you with by showing you that on this version, but you've seen most of the process, and that is the final story. And it's about 780 words long, so I've sent it to a couple of publications that specialise in flash fiction, which is usually anything up to about 1,000 words, and we'll see. And if anyone says yes to it and wants to publish it, I will let you know. Anyway, for now, until I come back with another how-to or another short story, thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.